right, so we've got Andy Breuninger. Does anybody ever pronounce it Breuninger?
Growing up, my last name has been butchered so many times. Breuninger is the correct enunciation.
Yeah, Breuninger. But so nobody, the N is silent. The first N is silent.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I've always called you Andy Breuninger. Then I look closely at the spelling. I'm like, oh, maybe it's Breuninger, and I got this thing wrong. But no, I got it right. All right, I got it right. All right, fishing for something there with you, Andy. But hey, it's all good. So Andy, you're one of these 20-year vets. Everybody knows who you are. Um, you're not the last senior consultant promotion. You're the one before that, but everybody knows you as a heavyweight. You're a pace setting owner. You run a great org. You've got great people on your team. So it's certainly a pleasure having you on this call. I think you've got a lot to teach us here today. But first things first, I just want to talk about you setting the pace as an ICL owner. I mean, what are you doing that we don't already know? I mean, we already know that recruiting is a priority. You know, it's not like you're interviewing two people per day. I mean, you're getting the volume, you know how to bring in the stud, you drive dollar per rep. But is there anything outside of the norm that we should know about the secret behind your success?
What a great question. And, when I got promoted in my 20 year, I said, I've been sharing the secret sauce. And I am learning a lot from a lot of the newer guys, whether it's direct through them or through, the telephone game or through hearsay. At times I'm offering larger base salary wages to people because I think they can make a huge impact in the business. At times I am personal recruiting. I belong to a country club and some of these guys, kids are graduating college and I'm going, hey, I got an internship available or they can work with me directly and I can help coach and mentor. But, I think I don't have anything that's going to say, wow, he's doing this that you probably don't know about. I spend almost my entire budget for recruiting on Indeed, Jamie. And I constantly talk about recruiting. I'm on the phone with my recruiter in the morning. She's worked with me for 10 years. In the morning, I go through the funnel with her. How many actives? We had 58 actives today. That's not that great for Chicago. So 58 actives, what's the plan with 58 actives and how many qualified and how many passives is Jessica, our secondary recruiter, ready to call today? And does she know what slots I'm unavailable for or the team is unavailable to do interviews? Great. Then midday check-in. Jessica went through an email. I just interviewed Jeffrey. That dude was amazing. If you can get me 5 Jeffreys all day, every day, I would like to take you and your significant other out to Morton Steakhouse or Gibson's. Let me know if you can get me 5 more Jeffreys. And at the end of the day today, I just, hung up with Crystal White. Hey, Crystal, wanted to let you know, thank you. I appreciate you. Today was a great day. We interviewed 8 people. That's not, ideal, but we took out 6 second interviews. And 5 of the 6 I was stoked about. I offered them a little bit more money to get them in the door because I think they can really make a big impact on it. And if you're listening and saying, yeah, he's not really doing anything mind blowing, I would just say that my hands are all over recruiting. I was talking to Wiggins on the golf course in Eden Rock, and we switched resorts at a certain point where we left Breathless and went to Eden Rock, Cap Cana, and we played Punta Espada, and we're just talking. And I said to him, I was like, I'm a $1 million club office, but I was like, gosh, it's got to be one of the worst $1 million club offices I've ever ran. And we might finish like 1.1 this year. And he laughed and he's like, you're still $1 million club office, Andy. And I said, I know, but I said, I would like to hire guys like Jamie Hepp. How do I get a Jamie Hepp in the door or Michael Sessions or another Andy Breuninger or John Wiggins in the door? Because I feel like I have a lot of pirates in my office right now and I just don't have time to spend with them in the morning in atmosphere, one-on-ones at nighttime, and then grab drinks with them at night. I was like, and I know if I can hire better quality people that, they'll maybe need less micromanagement, less tire pumping and confidence building, and they can go out and get the job done because they see the big picture. And I introduce them to our special people that we have in this whole network. And that's what I talked to John Wiggins about for about three straight holes, was how to recruit the John Wiggins and how to paint the picture. And I'm a 20-year vet. So nothing mind blowing, but I try to evolve as a recruiter. I just did an audit of my templates. I said, Crystal, can you send me the basic response again? Can you do this again? I'm running a B2B program where I'm doing job shadows again, doing second interviews, a day of observation. So I just think recruiting evolves. And if you think what you're doing works for you now, it might not work for you in 3 months or 6 months or 12 months. I would just encourage anyone in this call to, keep asking questions to the guys with high head counts. How are they getting the people in the door? How are they keeping them? Where are they coming from? What's your recruiter's day look like? What recognition am I giving my recruiter? How am I saying thank you? It doesn't always have to be monetary, but do I show enough appreciation? Because I think when you have a good recruiter in the door and they get good people in the door, it makes your life just so much more easy, and it's fun working with great people, as you guys know. So not mind blowing. I think you've probably heard some of that before.
Well, I mean, I think, tell me if I'm wrong, you must see this with some of your owners, but hey, I'm a new owner, so hey, Andy, speaking my language. Let me get involved. Let me inspect my templates. Let me have the one-on-ones and check in with my recruiter. Then as time goes on, now you've got a 10-year vet as a recruiter. Like, man, she knows what she's doing. So she's going to do her thing. I'm going to do my thing. I don't need to get into the weeds. I don't need to get into the micromanaging. And I'm not saying you're micromanaging, but I am saying you're in the, I mean, you are attention to detail with your recruiting. Your fingerprints are all over this thing. You haven't just outsourced and delegated recruiting. You are the recruiter of your business. So again, you must see some owners that get hands off after a while.
100%.
And so why are you so hands on?
Well, control. I wanted to be an entrepreneur for control. And if you have, I heard Brennan is up to 49 guys in his office, and at a $91,000 wire this week was shared on the AT&T call. If I have 49 guys in my office, I'd also be doing about a $90,000 wire in NRG retail. So I don't know, my attitude about hiring consultants to do my ads, they can do the work, but I still treat everyone like situational leadership, like D3. I feel like you're an expert, but let's check in because that's what the best people do. Now, I'm not checking in to catch you doing something wrong. I'm just trying to, like Alan Stein said, potentially spot out some blind spots and create some self awareness that we can get better. I don't have 49 guys. I don't have, 100 guys in my own ICL, although I'm running a B2B and a retail program. Recruiting controls the business. I could be a horrible teaching skill set. I can be horrible at building relationships with people outside of work. But if I hired someone like Jamie and he said, well, geez, there's 25-second interviews in a day, and all I have to do is go out and make, $175 a day, and you're telling me I'll get an interview every single day and I can have my own office with no investment and no seniority. That's what I mean. Going back to like that sharp quality person sees that and they're going, gosh, I'll stay in the store for 10 hours. I'll stay in the field B2B for 12 hours until I make that quota so I can get another second interview in the door. Um, it still drives everything, in my opinion, is recruiting.
Yeah.
So like, how do I add value? Like I pay myself a salary, and the way that I earn my salary is by recruiting. I'm a good recruiter. I like it. I think it's fun. I still do interviews. I want to be Nick Saban. That's what I like to do. Like Nick Saban may have created a foundation and system where he's getting a lot of actives, or five stars are reaching out, or their people are reaching out and saying, hey, we got this guy, Jamie Hepp. He's a 5-star quarterback from Laguna. And I think you should take a look at this guy. Well, great. Well, Jamie's not going to go sit down with the offensive line coach, and definitely not going to sit down with the tight end or running back coach. He'll meet the quarterback coach, but Nick Saban's going to fly him out and say, hey, these are my 10 national championships from Alabama. These are some of my rings. These are some of the quarterbacks that have gone on to be amazing people. These are some of the ones that played in the NFL. And tell me about your goals. Tell me about your family. Here, these are the core values that I stand for. Which one of those core values resonate with you? And now Jamie's more into, gosh, this guy I can connect with, I can learn from, he can mentor me, not just I can make money or something like that. And that's the guy I think gets promoted in 5 months versus, some of the guys, even like myself. I was like, I think, money, money, money. And then I realized, it's not just about money. It's about if you help enough people and you help other people reach their goals, everything else will come. The money will come, the freedom will come, the cool lifestyle, all these things will come, the stability, the independence. So I work for my company. I'm an employee of my company, and there's boundaries and rules. So I have to put in a certain amount of hours for my company each week. That's the discipline that I have as an entrepreneur. And my job is to be the number one recruiter. Because I also feel bad. Look, if I'm only taking out 1 second interview and Carmen is making $1,500 a week, and so is Eric, and so is Dean, and Steven Garcia, and then all of a sudden I have one interview in the lobby. But in the interview, we talked about there's opportunities for growth, that we want to expand into other markets, that we want to build an organization. That's what you told me. I feel like a fraud, frankly, when I don't have that. I feel bad. Sorry, I'll get you tomorrow with a second interview. Our recruiter was sick yesterday, or the quality, like that's like saying, oh, the store was slow, or I didn't see enough decision makers. So, for those that were on the call, you either ring the bell at the end of the night or you don't. So, as an owner, how do I ring the bell for my people, or blow the air horn or hit the jug? Was always recruiting, get enough second interviews with people that I can build a business with. Now, I'm not in favor of practice interviews, but I might widen my funnel with a little bit more pirates sometimes to make sure people are taking interviews and growing. I might give a chance to someone to develop the pirate and walk through and say, "Hey, Jamie, I think that Daryl's got some really bright spots, and I don't think he's realized his full potential yet. But here's some of the things that I'm concerned about. Did you ask that in the second interview? What do you think about that? I'd be willing to invest in you, but I want us to have a short leash with Daryl. If these three concerns that I saw came up, what do you say we just cut them? Or we set expectations going into day one training about these concerns, yada, yada. So then at least my leaders are learning and being trained on how to evaluate talent. So when I look at the business, there's nothing else that I think that I can, drive. So like we're opening up 6 offices literally in like 2 weeks. And I'm including, well, mine is November 6th. And that'll put me back up to like not quite up to where we were in 2019, but like in 1 year's worth of recruiting, if I have 300 reps nationally on my crew, one solid year of recruiting, if I go from 300 to 600, my org production doubles from 325 a week to 650 a week. That's a instant promotion in 1 year. And I talked about this with Wiggins too on the golf course. And then it's like, well, from 650 in a year, and then you have some little bit of turnover and a little bit of attrition, maybe come back down, a campaign change back down to 550, let's say. But then 550 in one good year, another year of recruiting. All of a sudden, I'm at 1,000 reps nationally. And with the averages right now, with what all of our programs are averaging, you're looking at 1,000 reps nationally. You're looking at senior executive consultant. And as long as I have 11 first gen deals, earning 1% of my entire org production, which is $500,000 a year of play money, because your other overrides are covering your quality of life and stabilizing your future, depending on what kind of quality lifestyle you have and spending habits you have. But it's all about recruiting. I mean, I can train 100 reps till I'm blue in the face. I'm a good trainer too. I feel like I'm a good trainer. I think I'm good at holding standards and holding guys accountable and building self-confidence. And I'm good at sales. If I get this deal go through tomorrow, they're gonna let me know. I think I'm going to be the #1 sales rep in all of Sidcor's network of ICLs. So that's kind of cool as a senior consultant 20 years in. But that doesn't help me reach my goal either, which my goal is not to run an office forever, turn 44 next month. My goal is more so to be a senior executive consultant and have at least 11 first gen, 90 offices in my org, doing 4 million a month, a million a week in revenue. And depending, my overrides at that point would be between $200,000 to $300,000 a week, a month. And do the math, you're looking at anywhere from 2.4 to $3.5 million, and ideally it would continue to grow. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money that I could do that for the next 40 years. People are like, when are you going to retire? Well, why would I? I could do calls like this from my car, taking my kid to gymnastics. And for the guys who get it, they're going to go, that makes a lot of sense. And the guys who don't get it, they're going to be working for the man.
Yeah. Yeah. Retirement's for people that don't like what they do. Right. If you love what you do, retiring isn't not a big thought. I remember having lunch with Gary, and I can't remember how old he turned. I think he turned like 55 or something like that. And he's like, I think I hit my half life in my working career. And then I was doing the math. I'm like, you're going to work till you're 90? He's like, well, yeah, my best years are ahead of me. So, but again, he loves anybody paying attention in Dominican. You see how energized Gary gets just to hang with people, to see people's lives change. So yeah, he ain't going anywhere. And obviously neither are you, Andy. So obviously you put, go ahead. Sorry.
Just a quick funny. I was sitting on a picnic table with Gary and we were talking, and then someone walked past and he looks at him and goes, "Oh my God, is that so and so?" And I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "He's still in the business?" "Oh, yeah, I gotta go." And he ran over to him and gave him a hug. He's like, "I haven't seen you. Where have you been?" I haven't. And yeah, just genuine, just nice to be around people, excitement. It was really funny.
It wasn't me walking by, was it?
Nah.
I'm making sure. I'm going to the football game with him this weekend. I didn't know if it was me he was talking about. So obviously you're putting big merit in recruiting, as we should, and I love how hands-on you are, and I hope everybody's paying attention to that, because I think a lot of time, I mean, I ask myself this question as well too. What can I delegate, what can I automate, and what can I eliminate? Right? Like, I just want to do the most important things in my business, and I want to kind of push everything else out, either delegating, automating, or eliminating. But recruiting is one of those things. I've always written my own ads. I want to be hands-on. I want to do the prelim. I want to do the final. So you're singing my song. What else? I mean, if recruiting is your number, if that's your right hand going into a boxing match, what's your left?
Oh, standards. Yeah, I think your company has to be a company that has standards. People have to know the rules. They have to know what's out of bounds. They have to know what's expected of them. Like my training is, my job is to try to help you reach your full potential. I find that some leaders think they're above people or better than them because they've been around. They have that seniority mindset. And I ran a meeting today about, really, the whole meeting was primarily the same kind of concepts from the 1 minute manager. 1 minute goal setting, 1 minute praising, 1 minute reprimand. And ideally around 1 minute goal setting was, hey, my job is just to help you reach your full potential. So I'm going to let you know when you do something great, and I'm going to let you know if you're not doing something, if you're doing something wrong. I'll let you know how that makes me feel. I let you know when you do something great or something wrong, how it affects the entire organization and our vision and what we're doing. And I'll let you know how to correct it, or I'm going to let you know, and we're going to celebrate the wins today. Other than that, we're just going to have a lot of fun. Like, I personally think sales, the foundation of sales is it's the same. It's, if people like you, they'll listen to you. If they trust you, they'll do business with you. Your energy is important. People sign up with you because it's a transfer of excitement. It's just, if they like you, they'll listen. If they don't, then next customer. How can I get more people to like me? How can I become more likable? Like, those concepts are never going to change. Like, what can I eliminate or delegate? I can teach that till I'm blue in the face. If Jamie, you asked me, Andy, how do I do a 2 location gas and electric on the tablet? I go, oh, Carmen, let's practice your training workshops, and then she's into it and she knows how to work the tablet and everything else like that. But, I think people have to know what's expected of them, even from a training role, like training the trainer. You have to know, hey, here's what's expected of you training the new guy. I expect you to, be the best example, to have fun and build confidence. If you do those 3 things, it's going to be a home run kind of day. What I also expect you not to do is, A, B, C, and D. I expect you to still perform. I expect you, although you're training, that's not an excuse not to do X amount of sales per week. I want you to write down some goals. So I think the guys got to know the standards. And in my ups and downs, Jamie, I like the guys that I'm working with, and I find that my standards go a little bit. And then I kind of get like, oh, so dissatisfied with what's going on that I just, I jump off the couch, or I make changes. So I think those are the 2 things that, human beings are incredible creatures. And when we know what's expected of them, you just most people just do enough. And you got your ridiculous, ambitious people who do a lot more. But those would be my 2, without stretching, my 2 1-2 punch would be, man, recruiting and standards.
Yep. Awesome. All right, guys, we've got around 7 minutes. I thought I'd open this up a little early. I tend to run out of time.
Andy, I got a question for you.
I thought I was stumped everybody. I wowed you guys with my enthusiasm that you were in awe. What's up, Steven?
Now, I was in off for a good 30 seconds there, and so now I'm curious. So something that my coaches have pointed out is I have a problem with identifying who to hire. I've always tried to lean into the volume side of things and kind of play the LOAs on that. And you mentioned one of the things that you're considering or you experiment with is you offer different bases if you feel somebody can really be a game changer in your business.
Yeah.
Is there anything characteristic wise or something that stands out that helps you be considerate of those options, or is there just a general caliber of person you're looking for? And if they happen to meet those parameters, then you go for it.
Let me pull this up. I just wrote this down. Someone just asked me that question. Okay. Culture fit. I'll start with that one. Are they aligned with my company's mission, my team, and core values? Number 2, do they have skill set? Do they have the right talent or specialized knowledge to get you where you want to grow? Number 3, experience. Have they actually done what it is that I need them to do? Have they done it successfully? Number 4, behaviors. Are there interests, are there drives, motivations, and behaviors a match for the specific position and responsibilities and the output desired? And do they have the cognitive ability? Are they smart enough to pick up new things quickly, apply new methods? So if I was going to offer you more money, I'd kind of look at your resume as I'm talking to you. Okay. And I might start off the question. And it was funny that we learned this, and Alan Stein said it too. It's like, hey, Steve, when you did your research about our company, which core value resonated with you most? Which one stood out to you? Oh, I applied to so many companies, Andy. I didn't get a chance to research you yet. Boom. You know what I mean? You started out here, now you're down to here. So now, doesn't really tell me much about how you prepare, right? All right. So according to your resume, it looks like you sold cars before. Walk me through the law of averages for a car. Oh, I don't know that term. Okay. How many people would you talk to in the dealership before you sold the car? How do you deal with the rejection? What did you do when nobody was in the dealership, Steve? How did you drum up and self-gen leads? Like, how do you drum up business? Why'd you apply to our company? Why do you want to leave your current company? Behaviors. What are you motivated by? What do you want your life to look like because of work in the next year, 2 years, 5 years? Have you interviewed before? Have you trained? Have you built a team before? If you were hiring a sales team, what's most important? There's so many different questions you can go through this, depending on their resume. Now, I might see, and I'm just going based on pictures. I might see Bo, who I don't know well, and Bo, he might, just graduated high school and worked in a restaurant and a bar. Now, I might say culture fit, and kind of go through it. Skill set. Hey, it looks like you were waiting tables. It's a little different than direct selling. We're going to you and we're trying to sell versus they're coming in with the intention to eat. Now, I know you're trying to build the bill and build a relationship, get them to like you. I like that. But how do you deal with rejection? Why do you think you'll be able to flip the script? You know? Um, so, and then honestly, I think image is important. I interview so many people sometimes on Zoom from the car or they're not suited up. And I know in the basic response, that's why I recently audited my basic response where it says couple tips on Zoom etiquette. This is business casual. Here's a link to business casual, what that looks like. If you haven't downloaded the app, download the app if it's your first time. Like we literally walk them through it. And if they still don't do it, I mean, this is a minimum wage kind of guy for me, but then Chicago is competitive, ultra competitive, not just from a ICL direct sales company or anyone in sales. It's headquarters for many, many other companies. So I got to be competitive in my marketplace. I got to also make sure that what I'm offering has is better than my competition. You know. So with all that considered, Stephen, it's not as clear cut. Jamie might have all those things, and then he's like, I want $1,000 a week, and I'll still be like, it's a little risky. Sorry, I can't do it. Or, Kevin might be like, yeah, it sounds great with this kind of, offer. I appreciate it, but maybe he's got everything. I don't know. I don't like him. I don't vibe with him that much, you know? So what the greatest thing is going back to control, being an entrepreneur is you can control that. Now, how long have you ran a business, Steve?
Just past 5 years.
You're only going to get better at it. I don't know if I was an expert at 5 years at it, but you should get better at it. I think I'm 100% a better talent scout than I am now. Then, in the next 10 years, I hope to be an incredible talent scout. So my daughter's like, Dad, what do you think about this guy? Well, I don't know. Let me see. What's he do for a living? How does he handle adversity? You know, tell me about his parents. Like I'll have questions to ask that I'll know that what that boyfriend's like or have an idea. So, but those 5 points will help you. Now, if I'm going to offer someone a little bit more money to get them in the door, I want them to have an impact and I want them to, do well, right? So, I might spend a little bit more time with them in the interview. I like to manage my Zoom lobby. So when we're doing prelims, if Dean Habib hops on with his sunglasses from the car, I might be like, he's not interviewing with me. Someone else, you know? And then Hishan, is that how I say it? Hishan's in an office taking notes and he's got his jacket on, he's got a vest on and a tie on. I'm going to cherry pick based on his image. And, I might look at his resume before I decide who I'm going to set him up with an interview. But that's how I do it. I think it's replicable. Some guys that use things like digital hire, it's convenient and maybe they don't have to work as hard and it's working for them. I haven't done it personally, so I'm not an expert at that, but I don't want to outsource that because I feel like that's my control to get to, you know, senior national executive or whatever it's called, senior executive consultant, you
So,
know?
so I'll just sort of wrap this up here real quick. Andy, I appreciate that. And you alluded to Alan Stein Jr. And so for those that missed him, you really missed a treat. I mean, Alan Stein Jr. seems to speak our language very well. And so it was interesting hearing some of the stuff, like if he was conducting an interview, again, Andy alluded to it, like, hey, you know, you've seen our core values, you know, what do you identify with? And so all of us are putting our values on our website. That's a great question. And he throws out something like this that I never thought of. Hey, what are your core values? And when's the last time you violated one of them? And I'm like, man, what a juicy question in an interview.
Yeah.
Like, hey, so what are your core values? Who are you? And when's the last time you violated one of them? So we're working on bringing him back. And so he's going to help us get to 500 million bucks. So Alan's the man. So,
And I don't think that's a question though that I'm asking everybody. But again, I'm trying to get now. I one of the thoughts I went into that meeting, like I want to learn. But is there one thing that Andy said that I can help? You know, what I say is not the gospel, nor what Jamie says. But if we can come up with one or two different ideas that gets you to think and say, oh, you know, that might be something else that I can really get my business or my organization to the next level. I went in with that approach and he said that. He was like, look, you know, like he never built a sales organization. And that's how I felt about. I was like, how can I get better people in the door? Guys that I want to work with, and you know, I'm just really proud to work with. Not that I'm not proud, but you know, awesome, amazing people that can run businesses, legitimately can be CEOs, and I can learn from them. And it's more of a peer-to-peer relationship versus mentor-mentee.
yeah. And as you say that, it's like, it's clear, just knowing your crew, you know, you're throwing that out into the universe, and that's what the universe is bringing you. I mean, those guys are showing up and those guys are running great companies in your org. So not by fluke that you've got some heavy hitters on your team, Andy. So we appreciate you jumping on. Love to hear a 20-year vet, completely hands-on, who isn't delegating anything in recruiting. And obviously you're preaching standards as well too. So thanks, Andy. I think you've added a lot of value on this call. So muchas gracias, senor.
Anytime, my friend. Anytime.
All right, go get those girls from gymnastics. I'll see you guys soon.
Cool. I got 10.